Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Walking with God. I am your host, Kyle Walker, and you're joining us on WYTV7 coming out of Kansas City. Good evening to everyone. It is Tuesday, April 10th, 2018, and we are back for another week of the show. We're going to dive right in because I think I over-prepared for tonight. We've got a lot to talk about. First, though, and most importantly, the hat representation for this evening, of course, is yet another somber event that has taken place over the course of this week, and that is the terrible crash in Canada involving the Humboldt Broncos out of Saskatchewan, they of the Junior Hockey League. A terrible bus accident that left 15 players, coach, and the captain of the team deceased, and with many injuries. And we all know that hockey in Canada is the national sport, and so this was a very tragic event for a very small town, so pretty much everyone is affected by it. And I just wanted to throw out our thoughts and prayers from the show and from everyone watching to the good folks up there. I'm wearing the hat of our Kansas City Mavericks, the hockey team that we have here in town. I love hockey. I'm a hockey person myself, born the day of the Miracle on Ice, so I kind of feel like I've got hockey in my blood. Both my parents played, I played, and so hockey is a very important thing. And yes, my mother did play hockey, even played while she was pregnant with me for a moment, which might explain a few things. So we finally got that part figured out on why I am the way I am. But anyway, our thoughts to them, to everyone up there in Saskatchewan, and to all the folks affected. So diving into tonight, we at the beginning of the shows, we always take care of a little housekeeping business. Next week, Joe will be here with us. Joe's last appearance here on the show yielded the most views that we've ever had, which is now well over 15,000 views of a show. And that was our pre-Easter show. And so, come back next week, because apparently people cannot get enough of Joe. And so he will be back. I told you that we will be taking a break between Memorial Day and Labor Day here on WYTV7. So we won't be coming out with any new shows, but we'll have the videos there. But Joe and I were talking, and we've got kind of a neat idea for when we come back in the fall, and I just wanted to kind of get this out there to you just real quick. We spoke the last time he was here about a group that he does called Alpha, and that is for people who are really kind of searching about the claims that Jesus has made and why Jesus is who he says he is, and really for the people who have not completely bought in. It's a chance to get your questions answered that you might have towards faith and towards Jesus and towards what the Bible tells us. And so when Joe comes back in the fall, we're going to spend our Tuesdays together really kind of going through a lot of this alpha material to really help the folks who might have just a couple questions. Because while this show, of course, is called Walking with God, we've geared towards the divorced people that might listen. But with the Christian background, you might be divorced, but you might not have that Christian background, and you might want to learn, and you might want to hear things. And so that's what we're really going to try and dive into when we come back in the fall. So if that is something that interests you, I hope that you will plan on joining us. I hope you will want to submit your questions to us, because we would love to answer any questions that you might have. And it can be about anything. Why does the Bible say this? Or why did Jesus claim this? Or why does my church do this? And we can answer that with only our opinions. But if you have the questions of faith, then I hope that you will please send them our way when we start that series in the fall. So you have now been made aware, and we will move on. So I said last week that this was going to be the first time that we jumped into this world of adult dating, shall we say. And let me be a little more specific by saying that we are going to discuss at least kind of my bread and butter, my wheelhouse, post-divorce dating. Okay, which is a little different. It's a little different if you're dating post-divorce rather than if you've just never been married before. So, at least in my humble opinion. You might disagree. If you disagree, let me know. We'll talk about it. So, we're going to talk about the particular struggle of post-divorce dating, and just some things that I've learned, some things that have happened to me kind of along the way. And I just want to be 100% clear. Hear me right now if you don't hear anything else that I say. I am not discussing this with any sort of expertise. Okay, I am only speaking as a person who has been going through this particular struggle myself. And so it's just what I've learned along the way. But I am right down there in this world with you. I'm not talking down to you about it. I'm not saying do this, do this, do this. I'm right there with you, and I make the same stupid mistakes that everyone makes in this world. But we're going to talk about it, and even while I kind of prepared this show, I looked a little bit in the mirror at myself and some of the things that I've done along the way, and maybe I might have cringed a little bit. That's might absolutely be the case. So I've sat here and I've tried to figure out my approach to this show and how we were going to do this, because every time I started thinking about it, my mind goes to 11 billion different directions on this subject. There's so many facets and nuances, and every single interaction that you have is different. It would be impossible for me to ever cover all of them, even if every show that I took from now until the day this show stops airing and I discussed post-divorce adult dating. There's always something to talk about, because it's ever changing and everyone's experiences are different, and there's so much to it. So what I kind of came up with for tonight, and what I think, I guess, is the best way to at least ease into this, is that I'm going to kind of go in chronological order, and that seems a reasonable place to start. So as a young man, I knew that I did not want to be a single adult. Call it young man's intuition if you want to, or maybe I just had a feeling, but I knew all along that I wanted to get married young, kind of do things the very traditional way. And so that's what I did. Even at 18 years old, I got my steady girlfriend in high school. Okay, and it was senior year in high school. We did all the school dances together. She was, my date at senior prom. And we were just, full-blown high school couple. And so we continued on after high school, and for 4 years we dated. So from 18 years old to 22, we did the dating thing. At 22 years old, I proposed, and at 23 years old, boom, I was married. Woohoo! I did it the way that I wanted to do it, right along my timeline. So I went from a teenager to dating this woman, and then I went into adulthood as a married husband. Go team. And so if you look at the math from 18 to 22, I was never a single adult. Okay, 18 years old is when I started that process. So at 24 years old, I bought my house, first house. At 26 years old, I become a father for the first time. At 29 years old, I became a father for the second time, and now had 2 kids. And then boom, at 30 years old, here comes divorce. Okay, here comes no wife, having my kids only half the time. Here comes the loneliness and the confusion, and worst of all, here comes being single. All right, so that all happened at 30. Now it's my first time as a single divorce. Now the times, they have changed from when I was 18 years old to when I was 30. Slight changes, shall we say. In high school, I passed notes, in the hallway to my girlfriend, handwritten notes that were written out instead of doing schoolwork, really. And that might have explained my grades. But when I was 18 years old, I had to call my girlfriend's home. And most of the time I had to get past her parents to talk to her. But I'm there on a landline. Yes, kids, they were called landlines. I'm on a landline talking to my girlfriend on the phone, at 18 years old. After I, may I speak to Jill, please? After I did all that. So, again, not quite how it is these days. I didn't have a cell phone in high school because that technology wasn't there. So if you think about it, the last time I attempted to court a girl, I wrote handwritten notes in high school. I called a house phone. I only was able to have audible conversations, no texting. All right, and if I wanted to post on her wall, that was otherwise known as graffiti, and I would have gotten arrested for that, and probably her parents would have kicked me out of the life there. So, let's not forget that at that time as well, there were no kids, no bills. I worked my little dinky job at Blockbuster Video, if you want a little dating there. And I had a tape player in my '78 Chevy Impala. So that was what I did the last time I had to court a girl. And so then we fast forward to 2010. Here I am, I'm post-divorce. Boom, divorced. Ta-da, it's over. I'm not in school anymore. I have a full-time job. No one writes handwritten notes anymore. Everything is texting, nowadays. Even in 2010 when I got divorced, everything was just texting. Nobody talks on a phone anymore. I swear that's not what this is for. I don't ever do one of these. And so the texting is the most common way of communication these days. Now I have 2 kids. I have a car payment. We've got rent at that time. We got foods, child support, and, loads of adult responsibilities. So, again, times, they have changed. And so I'm single now. I'm officially divorced. How do I meet people? How do you meet people after being married, going through a divorce, and then you've got all these different things that are now actively working against you? Not that my kids are actively working against me, but come on, post-divorce people. Haven't there been one person who said they didn't want to date you because you had kids? Yup, probably several of them. So I'm single now, officially divorced. How am I going to meet people? Here's the dilemma. Okay, this is the dilemma we find ourselves in our 30s and 40s, and just kind of this, again, around my age is what I can speak to, so that's where we're at. So how do we meet people when we have kids? And how do we meet people when we've got bills and we've got responsibilities? We all come with our baggage. Boy, that's for sure. We all come now, if we're coming post-divorce, we've got our exes to worry about. You could have some baby mama drama. You could have some baby daddy drama. You might have some student loans. You might hate your job. You might, you're bringing in your prescriptions for depression medication. You may be an excessive love for alcohol. But wait, there's more. Let's find someone that is exactly as messed up as we are, and then see if we can date them at that point. Seems like a great idea. Here, I've got all these different hang-ups, and now I'm going to go find someone who probably has all the same hang-ups, and we're going to see if we're going to make this work. Chance of success? Small. So, we as divorced absolute disasters, divorced people, are now going to try and find someone in which to date. We're going to try and find another soul, in all likelihood, who's going to be going through the exact same stuff that we are, the exact same situations. So, since this is a doomed ship already barreling at full speed towards the iceberg, let's figure out how to do this. So, as an adult with all the above issues, how are we going to find another single adult? Okay, how are we actually going to make this happen and find someone? All right, so do we just talk to random strangers? Do we cross paths with someone at the grocery store and try and introduce ourselves? Well, let me tell you, I tried that. Okay, I think I might have gotten maced twice. I have 3 restraining orders against me. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, try talking to a stranger these days. All right, you are met with some of the less than pleasant responses. All right, I don't even get a thank you 50% of the time when I hold the door open for somebody. And now I'm going to try and find a potential love interest, which has even less of a percentage of success. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to go ahead and toss out talking to a stranger in the grocery store. All right, let's see, what are we going to do now? Oh, how about bars? You remember back in the 80s and 90s, you were supposed to be able to pick up chicks at bars. Yeah, you're going to go in there, you sit at the bar, you strike up a conversation, you buy the young lady a drink, and that's how you're going to meet someone now. You're gonna meet this woman or man of your dreams at a bar. This is not the 80s anymore. Nope. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out as a possibility. I don't think that one's going to work. So let's see here. Here's a brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of this sooner? I have friends. My friends have friends. My friends know people. So I'll have one of my friends, talk to one of their single friends, tell them about their buddy Kyle, and you know what? My friend, my referral. It's going to be a referral process. That's how I'm going to meet somebody. Yeah, that happened like once. So give me an amen here, divorced folks. Stick with me on this one. But tell me if this is you or your situation. I'm betting yes. You go to your friends. All right, for me it sounded like this. I said, hey man, I'd really like to try and get back into dating. Do you and maybe your missus, have any single friends that you might recommend me to? That you would tell about your buddy Kyle. I'd really appreciate a referral. Okay. Well, I will bet you this, and if I'm wrong, I will buy you a soda. Okay. I will bet you that the response not only comes in the negative from your friend, but it comes in the negative with less than 3 seconds of actual thought. Tell me I'm wrong. Okay, so you're telling me that your vastly superior brain can go through your entire mental friend list in less than 3 seconds, assess all possible candidates, assess all of their relational statistics, okay, if they're single, if they're divorced, if they're separated, if they're going through a divorce, whatever the situation is, and in less than 3 seconds, you can firmly respond with, nah, man, I can't think of anybody. I claim nonsense. I absolutely claim nonsense when people do that, and it happens all the time. Tell me it doesn't. Every post-divorce single person has tried their friend, and their friend, within 3 seconds, it says, no, I can't think of anybody. Well, then you are smarter than I, my friend, because I can't process all the people I know that fast. All right. So I will tell you right now that the one time that somebody asked me for a referral, I gave my friend said referral, and now those two are married. And that is crossed my heart and hope to die, because I thought, hey, my buddy's asking for someone. I know this young lady over here. I think they'd be good together. Bam, they're now married. All right. So at least I can say I did a little something here. So yeah, I've seen the referral system work. I still believe in it. But I mean, people, you got to give it more than 3 seconds of thought. But I'm willing to bet about 3 seconds is the average of how long somebody will think about that. And so, give it a little more than 3 seconds, and don't just toss that request to the side. Because if I'm asking you, if you know somebody, that means I'm trusting you, and I'm trusting the person that you might refer to me. Okay, that's like 3 layers of trust, which in post-divorce world, 3 layers of trust might be 100 layers of trust. Because we're all about that broken and jaded at this point. So, okay, so we're not going to be sitting in the bar. We're not going to be buying random people drinks. We aren't going to go get ourselves maced at the grocery store talking to strangers. And our friends, 99 times out of 100, are no help at all. So what do we turn to now? Well, this is where we come to the absolute worst part of divorce, or post-divorce dating. This, my friends, is where we go to internet dating. No, everyone's just ooh and ah and squeal in pain with me. So I know you're all groaning, at this very moment, as I am. Trust me, I'm groaning on the inside, even saying the words internet dating. So is there a bigger joke in the world than that? I don't think so. Now, I know that through the process of this entire show, I have sounded like nothing but an angry, bitter, jaded jerk face. And I understand and appreciate that. And if you think that, you're absolutely correct. So I will say this. I will say this positive thing about internet dating, because I know what I'm coming across as. I will say that I have met some really amazing people through that process. Okay? Huge love connections? No, clearly not. Obviously not. Okay? But given my present situation, the love connection has not happened. But have I met some wonderful and quality people through it? Yes, I absolutely have, and I'm fortunate to have made some wonderful friends. Okay, just a very quick side story. Post-divorce, the very first person, 8 years ago that I went on a date with, she and I are still wonderful friends to this day. We talk at least through a funny text or an email every day, kind of a running buddy. I have known her for 8 years. She's a wonderful person, and I would not trade anything. I want to keep her in my life as my friend. And the guy that she's been with for 7 years, he is also counted amongst one of my very dear friends. So, and that was a meet through internet dating. Clearly not a love connection, but a friendship. And so I am thankful for that friendship, and I would take that friendship over a love connection that could come or go or fail or whatever any day of the week. So that's my little caveat to this. There are positives that can come from it, friendships that blossom. But overall, I think we know the joke that internet dating can be. So we're going to look at the forums. Okay, you can pay money. You can pay money to go to Match.com or eHarmony. All right, and I know some people have had some success off of that. You post your few favorite pictures of yourself. You write up your little biography. You talk about what you like and what you don't like, and you tell people what you want and what you don't want. I don't want a smoker. I don't want a drinker. Maybe try and be a little funny. Throw in a little jokes in there. We've all seen it, and that's fine. So submit your profile for the world to see. You browse around the site and you realize that maybe you're seeing about 5% of what somebody is really about. The benefits to those paying sites, though, are that people are actually spending money. And if somebody's actually spending money, you would think that maybe they're a little more invested in the process, invested in actually finding someone, and that's fine. Okay, so good on them. All right, but maybe you're not having luck, or you don't want to pay the expense of these pay sites, these pay dating sites. So then you go to the freebie sites. You go to your OkCupid account, or you go to Plenty of Fish, as somebody once called it Plenty of Offish. And that works, Plenty Offish. And so you take your little profile from your paying site and you put it out here on the free site. And this is where you actually lose all faith in humanity, is right here on these freebie sites. You're not going to find the commitment and quality relationships on these sites that you're looking for, in my humble opinion. You are going to find some of the worst, though. From what I understand from women that I've talked to, okay, so I'm trying to help you out, ladies. On these sites, about 8 out of 10 messages received are just going to be solicitations for sex. So there you go, 8 out of 10. And trust me, it's not any better on the other side. I've gotten some very entertaining messages, shall we say, over my many years when I was on those things. So of those 8 of 10, though, about 6 of them are going to be from married guys who are looking to have affairs. Yay. Yeah, there's faith in humanity restored. Not so much. Like I said, not better for us. It was through one of these sites that I mentioned that I suffered my most humiliating post-divorce moments. And that is when I got duped personally by a woman who was just occupying her time while her husband traveled for work. He was traveling for work, and she was just on there misleading and manipulating people left and right. I thought she was single, and so that's a whole different story for another day. Actually, I think I've shared that story once before, but it is still my most humiliating post-divorce moment that who I think I'm a pretty good judge of people. Like, I can figure people out pretty well, but she fooled the heck out of me, and I never saw it coming when I found out that she was married. So, no one's ever played me like that before. But anyway, let me get off of that for a moment. Now that we're done with the free sites, you're getting 8 out of 10 solicitations for sex. 6 of them are from married guys, and you're having no luck at all. We're going to take a step even below the free dating site. What's the step that can be below the free dating site? Oh, let's go to the apps. Let's go to the apps on the phone. Yes, what could possibly go wrong? You've got your Hinge, you've got your Bumble, and then, of course, you have your Tinder. Yay! So now, we aren't even 5%, that someone's going to see of you. They're not even going to know the 5% of you, like they would on your online profile. Now, you have one picture. That's it. You are being rated and graded and decided upon because of one picture. All right, this is the glorified meat market of the world. Let's see. Oh, I'll take that steak right there. That one looks good. Yeah, and so someone's gonna look at your picture for a fraction of a second, and then they're either gonna swipe left to eliminate you, or they're gonna swipe right to say that they're interested. That's what we've reduced each other to. We are reduced to a left swipe with your finger or a right swipe with your finger. Hooray, humanity! So we've got the swiping going on, okay? And so keep that in mind, that all this is based off of one picture. All right, so now in the rarest of occasions, they might want to see one more picture before they swipe left or right. They might, I don't guarantee this, they might actually move to your second picture, and if they haven't swiped one way or the other yet, they might actually make it to the part that you filled out that actually talks about yourself. I know that seems strange and odd. Okay, but let's be honest, 9 out of 10 times, you or they are swiping one way or the other after the first picture. That's it, one. All right, and if you're on these sites, you're doing it too. I've done it, you've done it, we've all done it. So that's where we are, and I'm sorry, I paid no attention to the chat window. I'm sorry, I'm going through my hissy fit here for the evening. So after a split second, you have been decided upon on these terrible excuses for a way to meet somebody on these dating sites. So this is how we're supposed to meet the loves of our lives. Here we go. That's post-divorce dating right there. We're going to swipe left or right. We're going to get hit on by people who are married and trying to have affairs. We're going to try and sit in a bar like they might have done 20 years ago and probably didn't even do then. Or we're going to talk to strangers. None of those really seem like great options at this point. Okay, so we're reduced to nothing more than a left or right swipe on somebody's phone while they're bored at work. There we go. Congratulations, folks. That's where we're at in this world. So for those of you who might be listening who are married or young or mid-20s or with your spouse and you're happy, I envy you. I really do. This small part of being a single adult is not something I ever wanted for myself. Okay, I didn't want this. I tried to get married at 23 and be done, have my wife, house, kids, and just sail on about my life. So I don't wish this adult single life on anyone. Now, I did talk to one person who said that they think it's great. Okay, they had their marriage, they had their divorce, they learned all their lessons. Now they've got this list, and this is the list that everyone has to check off before they'll get involved with them. And that's great. I don't know what your success rate is going to be trying to find someone that's going to fit this all-encompassing list, but if it works for you, it works. I guess I haven't sat down and made a personal list of they must have this, they must have this, they can't have this, they can't have that, and this would be okay. I just haven't done that. But, I get that divorce happens, okay, because people change and people grow apart, and there could be some really bad situations on the home front, someone that needs to get out of a bad situation and kind of break free. I get all of that. Okay, matter of fact, I just found out yesterday that a woman that I know is getting divorced. Okay, I just learned of this yesterday. She's looking for a divorce lawyer right now, and my heart absolutely broke into a million pieces. Okay, I adore this woman. She is one of the nicest people I have ever met in my life, and I hate what she's about to go through. Okay, not only is divorce bad enough, but I hate that after her divorce. Okay, but after this divorce, what follows? I know that this woman with a huge heart someday is going to get scammed. Somebody is going to lie to her, somebody is going to hurt her, and someone is going to play all these stupid single adult games that we play. You know it's going to happen. It's disgusting. It's terrible. I hate that this is going to happen to her. And even if she's watching this show right now, which I haven't looked, I know that it's going to happen, and there's nothing that I can do to stop it, because that is what this post-divorce single world has become. And it's just awful. And I would absolutely change that if I could. And like I said, married people, I've had married people who say they envy me. I'm single and I can do what I want, and I can date who I want. And, to any of you who may think that, who might think that, being the single adult is the, fun option or even a viable option, don't. People used to ask me all the time if I ever thought I'd get remarried. And I used to respond to them without hesitation, yes. Okay, well, these days, after years and years of being lied to and being used and being manipulated and being misled, after my marriage ended due to a workplace affair, and then the only post-divorce long-term relationship I had ended due to a workplace affair, my answer's a little different. And I mean, you want to talk about two workplaces affair, talk about taking your work home with you. Ha, ba-boom, ching. Anyway, it's starting every day it gets a little more difficult to really see myself allowing someone to get that close where marriage even crosses my mind. And it's because of everything that I've spent these last 28 minutes, hi. It's because I've spent these last 20 minutes going over every dirty, rotten part and every terrible thing that has happened to me during this process. And so while my answer used to be an immediate yes, I know in my heart of hearts my answer is still yes. But that light at the end of the tunnel is fading away. It's not getting closer. And so it's a little different, than where I used to be. So like I said, at the start of this, I know that this show here, which is already 1 minute from being done, is just one little facet of this adult dating world, okay? And it's a big world, all right? We could go on and on and on talking about this. So what I did here tonight, and I know tonight was scripture free, and I'm sorry about that, but I'm setting it up for next week. So like I told you, Joe is going to come next week, and I have told Joe that I want him to hammer home a really a Christ-centered relationship, and really the things that we as dumb single people do that we shouldn't be. And I'm really starting to think that a lot of these things that we do are why we're not having success. And so Joe is going to hit the scripture hard this week. He's going to come next week prepared and ready to rumble. And I said, man, hit us with truth. Hit us hard. Tell us where we're really messing things up in what we're doing in this life. Because, let's be super honest, folks. If you're a post-divorce single adult, have you been worrying about your vertical relationship with God while you're doing all this other nonsense and every other avenue that we discussed? No, neither have I. And maybe that's the problem. So that is what Joe's going to talk about next week. He's going to help us out because I don't know about you. If you're watching this, though, I don't think your luck is any better than mine. And my luck has been pretty atrocious. Again, I've met some wonderful people, but it's been a rocky road for 8 years, at least for me. So there we go. Joe's going to talk about what the scripture tells us relationships are supposed to look like. Maybe if we all start to get our relationships right with the big man, it will increase our chances for success here with each other. So that is what we're going to do next week. All right. And this was 30 minutes of me moaning, railing against this adult dating world. Hopefully it wasn't too painful. Let's close it out in prayer and I'll get you out of here for the week. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing us all together. Lord, be with everyone up in Saskatchewan, all the people affected by the Humboldt Broncos tragedy. Our prayers are with them, the families. Bring them healing, bring them understanding, bring them peace, and just anything you can do for those families. Lord, help all of us to really start to take that look in the mirror, whether we're doing some of these things that we talked about tonight or we're suffering from them being done to us. Wherever we are on this road and in this process, I ask that you will give everyone guidance. And that is my big request. It's guidance in this very difficult to navigate situation. So Lord, keep everyone safe. Bring everyone back next week. And we will talk to you soon, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. We'll see you next week with Joe. We're going to keep on with this relationship stuff, and we might even go past next week and just see where it takes us. So thank you all very much for your support. This has been Walking with God on WYTV7 out of Kansas City. I am your host, Kyle Walker. My pleasure as always, and we'll see you next week.